Hi, everybody. Happy New Year and welcome to 2022. 2022. There's lots of twos in it. Zero is like a non-number, so it's really just all twos, and that's great. I don't know. It's the first show of 2022. I'm thrilled to be here. I had so much fun on New Year's Eve. Oh my God. I was trying to think about the last time I had such a great New Year's Eve. And I think it was years ago when I was in Philly with my sister Hannah. We went to this great party with our friends, John and DeLuca. And that was pretty good. But and I have this great picture. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. But we look so great, you know. We're just like having a great time. Two sisters out on New Year's Eve. That was an awesome moment. But I mean, and you know, it's been okay since then. But that was pretty good. But this year, I mean, it was great. I loved being with you. It may have to be a thing, you know. I don't know. So thank you to everybody who came, and yeah, I don't know. It was good. Maybe I'll do a smoky eye more often. So thanks to everybody who came. Okay, so I said so. I hope you're well. I hope your week has gotten off to a good start. Mine's pretty good, I have to say. I'm pretty nervous about that virus out there. I know it's weaker. I'm vaxxed and boosted. I understand all of that, but as we've talked about, and we have our own Myra is a healthcare worker. I'm sure many other folks who watch this show live or on the replay work in healthcare. And I just feel like, and I don't mean to sound sanctimonious or like, you know, virtuous or anything, but it's like, I think I've been in the hospital a fair amount in my life, okay? Very sick, you know, needing surgery quickly, right, in my life. I've never told that story. Maybe one day I will, but it's very long and painful. But I've had to have really intense medical intervention in my life. And the nurses the nurses saved my life, right? I mean, the doctors did the surgery stuff, but it was the nurses who saved my life. And with all of the stuff that came after while I was in the hospitals and da-da-da. And so I think about, you know, well, I probably, my younger sister, I wouldn't mention this, but my mom actually outed her when she was on the show. So my younger sister got COVID, okay, like a few days before Christmas. And she was pretty sick. She was still registering a positive test, like, I mean, it was over a week later, you know? And so we would have canceled Christmas plans anyway, but certainly she was ill, so, you know. And she was pretty sick, and we had the same reaction to the vaccine, you know. Our second dose, we were just flat out with our second dose. So anyway, I don't know how I'll respond to that virus, and I want to not get it because, ew. But I also don't want to stress the hospitals. What if I needed to go to the hospital? Like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to try to not go there. Not just because I know how much it really is lousy to be there for any length of time, but also because our nurses and our doctors, they can't handle it. I mean, they just need our help, you know? So I'm not gonna get sick. I'm just gonna do everything I can to not get sick. And it's very difficult to avoid it right now. But as an introvert, I'm indoorsy. It's okay, actually okay. So I'm doing my stuff, and I'm planning shows and excited to hang out with all of you because this is by design. Well, not by design, but by default, it's socially distanced entertainment. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. What else is going on? I have many things to tell you tonight, and people to catch up with. Hello, people in YouTube. It's Nancy and Sonia and Marion. Hello, Marion. Who is here tonight? Myra is here. I've got 3 quilts, by the way, that came in a little bit later. You know, I did a quilts in review, Quilt Nerd quilts in review. So you all sent quilts to me that you had made, pictures of quilts you had made in 2021, and we looked at them, and it was wonderful. It was like the best part of the New Year's Eve show, I thought. Well, there are 3 quilts to show you tonight that didn't quite make the cut, whether they sent them a little bit too late and it was, you know, on them or it was on me because I didn't check my email soon enough. We've got Myra, Quilting Nancy, and SJ Pepper. I have quilts to see from them tonight. So Myra, I'm glad you're here because you can see your quilt. Cork Quilts. Cork Quilts. I like that you're not Corky Quilts. You're Cork Quilts. We've talked about this, I think. Word and Bird Nerd, good to see you. Rod, hi. Welcome back. Word and Bird Nerd, thank you for subscribing for 3 months with Prime. You're on a 3-month streak. I don't know if you see that, but I see that in the chat, and that's awesome. Ivy Gadivy. Sweet Time Tuesday. Indeed, it is sweet. It is sweet time. I like how you phrase that. It might be an autocorrect, ghost in the machine, but I like it. Sweet Time Tuesday. That's good. Sounds like a song. M. Hicks is here. Amy Renee in West Virginia. And Kristen. And, oh, interesting. Yes, happy 2022 indeed. Okay, no, M. Hicks, you did not miss the video. I have information about the video. I did not like not being able to come on the stream on Saturday, but trust me, it was better for everyone. I'll tell you why. Robin, hi. Susan R. Michael, hello. Kay, hi. Kristen is here, and Bip is here. NDH, the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement. Mother Nature. Quilting Nancy, we're going to see your quilt. I think I mentioned. People are quilting. That's good. Hey, Dee Marie. Joyce Fiber, hi. I owe you an email. Lainey Lou, hello. Gosh, it's great to see everybody. Really good. Hey, SJ. Oh, you're basting. Oh, wait. I saw that you're basting. I was like, oh, what are you basting? People who aren't quilters, they don't know that you can baste a turkey, but you can also baste a quilt. It's completely different. There are no suction bulbs involved when you're basting a quilt, but it's a very important step. As important as basting a turkey is to a turkey, basting a quilt is to a quilt. It's very important. But SJ is wine basting. It's like wine tasting, but with more safety pins and no reds. You're ridiculous. That's hilarious. SJ is indeed basting a quilt, but she has wine with her. Me, I have water and crisps. But the night is young. I have a lot. We have a lot for you. A lot for you tonight. Holmes. What's up, Holmes? My Holmes. HSTs. Myra's on the HST train. Robin. Okay. I think I'm catching up. Oh, dear. Okay, wait. M. Hicks. Okay, wait. Myra says, Omicron didn't come to play, y'all. Be careful. Follow protocols. Vaccinate. Myra is our resident nurse, by the way. Follow protocols, vaccinate, booster up, double mask, avoid double mask, yeah? I went to the store super early this morning because I needed a few things. I mean, listen, I can be inside a long time before I get squirrely. Really, there's so much to do. I have so many projects. Quick side story. My mom used to say, Mary, you were always so agreeable. I would say my mom would say, quote, I'm going to work on my project, sweetheart, and then and you can work on your project. And I was like, okay. And I would get my crayons and be like, and be happy. So that's who I am. So I'm okay. I can be inside for a long time and be completely entertained for a long time. And so I went to the store this morning to get a few things so that I could do that, really, because of you, right? I want to help. I don't want to make it worse. I want to help. But I was wondering, I was like, double mask. But if Myra says double mask, I'm double masking. That's it. How hard is it? It's not about me. It's about you. I don't want to get you sick. I don't want to go to the hospital. Not because I don't want to go to the hospital, because I don't want to be another body in the hospital. Because it's too much. It's too many people. Okay. Yes. Keep the hospitals available for those who really need it. Indeed. M. Hicks, I'm thinking of you. I hope that is it your husband? I missed the first part, but that sounds like a lot, and I wish you well. Padma, your son and his family all got COVID. They're double vaxxed. Went to a Christmas party. Are they, man. Yeah, my sister Rebecca double vaxxed and boosted, and she got it hardcore, but just think if she hadn't been I feel like the vaxes and the boosters, they're a shield, they're like a seat belt, because this thing is terrible. This bug is bad. And so we have this seatbelt. And my younger sister was hospitalized as a tiny child with asthma. And so I'm so grateful that she had those, those shields, right? And so, yeah. Anyway, get vaccinated, get boosted if you haven't already. I hope that you all are well. Hey, Robin. And the Flintster, I'm so glad. You're having a date with Jack. Jack who? Jack Daniels? Ugh. On a Tuesday. On a what was it, Sweet Tuesday? Okay, everybody. So, hey, I'm Sue John. Sue John. I like calling you Sue John. It's Quilt Nerd night. It's Tuesday night. It's Quilt Nerd night. Okay, so everybody, if you've tuned in recently or immediately recently, this show it's called Quilt Nerd because we are a community we're really into quilts, and the reason that we are is not just because we like to make them, and it's not just because it's not because we're bored, because most of the people that you'll meet around here, including myself, are busy and impatient. Actually, there's this myth, right? There's lots of myths that surround quilts and quilt makers, and one of them is that we are patient, singing our hymns or something by the firelight as we make our quilts and bonnets. Not that there's anything, I'm not bonnet shaming. But there's this myth that, you made a quilt, it must have taken so long, you must be so patient. But in fact, and my mom says this, has said this a long time, like, quilters are some of the most impatient people in the world. Because if you've ever seen a quilter work on a quilt, we're always looking for efficiencies. We always want to, find ways to make our half square triangles, Myra, go more quickly, because we want to get to the next part, right? We love to do patchwork, and it's really fun, so we don't want to wait. And also, people who make quilts in general, I mean, when you have a to-do list, it's never done, And maybe you're not a to-do list person. Maybe just by saying, when you have a to-do list, maybe like I'm going to lose new people because they're like, I don't make to-do lists. But I would venture to guess that most quilt people, quilt nerds, you're to-do list people. Not everybody, but a lot of you. In fact, since I'm talking about the things my mother says, Mom has always said, if you like office supplies, you're going to love quilt making. Am I wrong? I mean, office supplies, like a tab. I live for a little tab. I mean, I have so many tabs. I love to tab things. In fact, look at this. I didn't even think of, look at these. Wait, hold on. Can you see this? Wait, look at those tabs right there. Anyway, so quilters have to-do lists, and they're never done, right? The to-do list just keeps changing. But when you make a quilt block, right? Quilts mostly are made from blocks, okay? Just for the purposes of this intro, we'll just say that. When you make a quilt, you make quilt blocks, right? Like the quilt behind me, you see these little squares? Each of those squares, you make one, and then you put them together, and maybe you have 9 of them together, and that's a quilt block, right? And then you make another 9 patch and another. And what's great about making a quilt when you're a person who has a lot of things to do all the time is you make that block and it stays done. It's done. You did it. It's finished. And so you can leave it be until you join all those blocks together, and then you have a quilt, and it's like really great. And so making a quilt is super fun, and for people who just like want to finish things, I'm not saying we're all scatterbrained. I'm just saying like we're always, doing stuff, because quilters are amazing in general, Exceptions prove the rule. And so we love to make them, but the thing is that it's more than that, right? It's more than that. Quilts are really amazing because they're history and they are philosophy. Yeah, it's true. Because no one ever can say whether a quilt is art or craft. So like, what makes a thing art? Because, if you've seen enough quilts in your life, and you could just see like 10 of them in your life, and a lot of people, would say, well, that's art. Because look how beautiful they are, and they're visual, and they're tactile, and sometimes if you hang them up on the wall, they look like an abstract painting, and so quilts are art, right? Well, a lot of art museums don't agree with you, and they say they're just craft, Is that because women make them? Is that because they're made out of fabric and not paint? These are questions that are very interesting to me. And if you are also interested in these questions, you might be a quilt nerd. And there are many people who are have been in this show, who are the cornerstones of this show, who definitely know that they qualify. I mean, they have been diagnosed. But if you haven't been, maybe you should check out the show, today or tonight or whenever you're watching it, and see if you're inspired, to think about things. You don't ever have to make a quilt to be a quilt nerd, and you don't ever have to be a quilt nerd to make a quilt. Wait, did I say that? Yeah. I mean, you can make quilts your whole life, and you don't have to care about this stuff. But if you dig a little bit deeper on what a quilt is and what it represents and how much fun it can be to go down the rabbit hole, it rewards you. It's rewarded me. I used to just make quilts and it was great. It was cool. But then I started actually looking at them, and I just can't look away. I never thought I'd be doing this. I was an actress. I was a character actress. I was a performer. I mean, I'm still doing that a little bit, obviously, but I don't know. They bewitched me, and so now I'm in this thing. So I hope that you'll stay in this thing. I'm a little bit. I don't know what's going on tonight. Okay, so I got to say hi to everybody over in YouTube. I'm conflicted. I have to say, don't take this the wrong way, people over in YouTube land, but I'm conflicted because it's weird to have two different rooms, if you will. The reason that I wanted to stream, to multi-stream to YouTube, is because I think people who are new to Twitch, which is mostly everyone in the audience, including moi, okay? People get a little, what is Twitch? It's a new thing. I totally get that, and it's not because you're, a Luddite or something. It's not because you're not tech savvy, please. Quilters have sewing machines with lasers in them. We use razor blades on a daily basis to cut fabric. We're cool, we're good. But Twitch, it's a gaming platform. That's what it's known for. It's not just that, but it's what is this thing? YouTube is known, obviously. It's such a known quantity. So I'm streaming to YouTube because I want people who are about Twitch to watch the show, But I like the idea that people are together in one chat and in one stream. And so and all of the shows will always live on YouTube. You can always watch the replays on YouTube. They will always live there after the show closes because Twitch doesn't keep the videos on Twitch for more than 60 days. So always, I want them too. I want to keep all the shows too. So they'll always be uploaded to YouTube for the replay, right? But in terms of live streaming to both, the other problem is that, if the internet speed isn't up to speed, literally, it can really affect the tech part of this. We know this. You all know this. Hey, L. Riggs. It's oh yeah, Robin, you qualify. I see you. Yeah. You're a quilt nerd. We've been new. So if you've been watching the show long enough. I mean, when I'm in London, it's it's really, I don't have the internet capacity to stream to both places, and things freeze and all that. So it's hard because I want to serve the people who are nervous about Twitch, but I also know that Twitch is totally cool, and Amazon owns Twitch. That's usually what I say to people who are unsure about Twitch. It's Amazon bought it. It's an Amazon property. It's totally fine. Not that Amazon is perfect, but if Amazon was we want to buy you, it's probably a safe place, right? So I hope that if you're watching on YouTube, you'll go to twitch.tv /YoMaryFons and make a Twitch login. And you can use your Amazon thing. There's an Amazon button. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe. You get one free Twitch subscription every month. Isn't that nice? Yeah. And you can subscribe to this show for free, which is totally cool. So I'm thinking about that. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of not streaming for the YouTube folks, live. But I also think it makes sense to keep, to not cross the streams. Literally. So anyway, but regardless, That's not happening now. Right now, we have people over in YouTube, in the YouTubes. Mary, hello from Nebraska. Denise is here. Happy New Year to you. Angela, oh, see, I love all my YouTube people. Mary had an infusion today, day 10. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling okay. Debbie, hi, from Oklahoma. Excellent. I know someone else from Oklahoma. Susan Armichael is from Oklahoma. Stacy, did I say? Okay, Stacy and Denise. Sometimes I repeat things. Marianne, I think I said hi to you. And Margaret, and Marta, and Noelle. Hey, Noelle. Or Noel. Anyway. You are not late. Marta, you are right on time. You're right on time. You're right on time. Okay, so what's going on? So here's what we do on this stream, on this show. I start with a quilt that's behind me. Yvonne, wait a minute. Did I say hi to you? You were here first. I love that. You're always here first. You're like the student in school that's like, comes to class like with her textbooks, like, I know you. Okay, I know her. So that's great. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're having a good New Year so far. So, Marta, I'm so glad you're here live. That's so cool. So we start out with the quilt that's behind me. There's a different one every time. And this one's so great. Oh, it's so great. It's so perfect for the new year. Oh, it's so perfect. Okay. So, and now the chat goes away when I get small. Help, no. Oh no. Help, I'm small and I can't be seen. Okay, there I am. So I get small because we want to be able to see as much of our quilts and things as possible. So the chat has to go away. We tried keeping it on the screen. We've tried a few different things, but the fact is, we're looking at quilts and we want to see them. And so I guess when people are on Twitch and they're playing video games and they're like, doing shoot 'em up stuff, whatever, you can have lots of different stuff on the screen and it's fine. And it's the visual grammar of this, world of video games. But I wouldn't like it. If I were you, I wouldn't like a whole bunch of stuff happening on the screen while I was enjoying, like this quilt, for example, right? So the chat goes away while we're doing this, but I, of course, will do my best to get in here and communicate what's happening for those who are watching the replay or in different rooms, right? I love the name Marta too. And now there's a Noelle. There's a Noelle and a Noel. Okay. You're individual people. Yeah, I see you both and I'm glad you're here. Okay. So this quilt, let's take a look. Oh, and I did this thing on New Year's and I loved it. It was like totally working for me. Okay. Oh, and I'm wearing my diamond earrings. I found my jewelry because I'm in Chicago and it's been a minute since I was here and I don't have much jewelry. Like, believe me. I have these, which I'll take back to London with me because, yeah, I should have them. And like one other pair of earrings. But I wanted to wear these on New Year's Eve, but I didn't have them. But now I have them. So I'm wearing a black sweatshirt turned inside out. See? And diamond earrings. It's the high-low mix. It's my favorite. It's my favorite fashion statement. Okay. The M. Sue John says, that quilt makes me happy. Indeed. Indeed, it makes me happy as well. So this quilt is from this book. I have mentioned it before. Sorry. It's the Georgia Quilts book. I'm going to do my best to show you. I would have taken a photocopy of this, but it's too big for the copier that we have. So it was kind of sad to try to get it copied. But I've mentioned it before. It's one of them. Look how thick it is. I mean, look. I think I'm going to go ahead and say it's the best. It's the number one, the winner of all the quilt documentation project books. I mean, this thing, hang on. I've got lots of things tabbed. I mean, this thing, the paper is gorgeous. The quilts are, the color, because like you can have a big book, right? But I mean, okay. The Rod Kirikoff Unconventional and Unexpected book that's finally shipping now. Anyway, that we're printing the second edition of that wonderful classic cult hit book by Rod Kirikoff. Quilt Folk has worked on it and it's ready to ship. Anyway, a huge consideration that Mike McCormick, the publisher of Quilt Folk, took very seriously was the color, right? Because you print these beautiful quilts, you have to get the color right. If the color's off, what's the point? So this book, I mean, the color is just amazing, and there are so many quilts, and they're all just more beautiful than the next. And so the Georgia book is like, pfft, look at this, patterns. Below are the many patterns and their frequency. They did not come to play with this book. So, oh no, did I just lose my place? Well, it's okay, I'll find it. Oh no, oh wait, hold on now. Oh yeah, here. Okay, so I'm so enjoying being in Chicago because of all my books. So I've really been digging deeply, as you'll see tonight, into my bookshelf of quilt books, and so I have this quilt is from this book, okay, from the Georgia Quilts book. It's perfect for New Year's. Susan R. Michael says, great book. This quilt makes me think about vintage folding lawn chairs. Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, I know exactly what you mean. And you said it, and I couldn't place it, Susan, but that's exactly right, okay? It's exactly right. Those vintage, it's not rattan, but it's like, well, plastic. Those fabulous plastic lawn chairs, right? So here's what this is, okay? This quilt is called Candy Sticks. The top is machine pieced by Tiffany Joy Elder. Hold on. Hang on now. Oh, let me just do this. Hold on. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna do this. I want to zoom out. But I don't want to. Okay. I don't know why I've got that. Okay, hold on. Okay. This, you want to see who made this quilt? Okay, so it's pretty uniform. It's a striped fabric. It's very simple. Anybody who hasn't made a quilt before, guess what? You can make this quilt easily because it's really just, well, it's brilliant placement of the stripes. But okay. Here, let's look at who Tiffany is. Tiffany made this quilt with her grandmother, Maddie Woods Elder, in 1985. Look at this. Look at this pumpkin. I mean, she'd hate it to be called a pumpkin because she was 10 years old. She would be like, I'm not a pumpkin. But, I'm looking at all the amazing quilts in this book. And then there's this child, with this adorable quilt. Okay. So this adorable quilt. I'm like, well, I mean, what better than like a youth to begin the new year? The hope of youth and the freshness. The freshness and the hope in the future, and it's just so lovely that she made it with her grandma, Maddie Woods Elder, who, by the way, made this quilt. Maddie Woods Elder made this quilt, which is also totally cool. Okay. Now let me see if I can find anything. Here we go. Okay. Maddie Elder owns several quilt tops. This was published, by the way, let's see, in 2006. 2006, let's take a look at the quilt again. Okay, 2006. So Maddie Elder, which was Tiffany's grandma, Candy Sticks. Isn't it perfect? Oh, wait a minute. Holmes is asking, is her shirt material on the quilt? Oh, I love that you wondered that, but I don't think so. But also, I love her shirt. What a very fashionable drape on the collar, no? Candy stripes. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. Maddie Elder owns several quilt tops pieced by her grandmother, Harriet. So this would have been, so they're talking about Tiffany Joy's great-great-grandmother here, okay? Maddie Elder, Tiffany's grandma, who helped her make this, owns several quilt tops pieced by her grandmother, Harriet Hattie Jones Swan, who was born in DeKalb County in 1876. And it talks about how Maddie has finished some of those quilts. Oh my God. And then she's also quilted a top pieced by her mother, Cleo Swan Woods, from Tobacco Sacks. Look at this one. This, okay, so this, can you see this? Oh dear. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You have to see this. How am I going to do this? I might, you know what, at the break, I'll go, yeah, you can't see it. Oh my God, this woman is fabulous. Cleo Swanwood's. At the break, I'll get a picture of it because you have to see this. So this would have been Tiffany's grandmother. Forget it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so you know, quilting traditions in Georgia. I love it. Yeah, you will see this picture of Cleo Swan. If your name's Cleo Swan and you have a collection of hats, you're winning. You're winning in life. Okay, so there's our intro quilt. So, let's see. Now Robin says Robin M. See, we're learning more about Robin M. Robin M says Tiffany Joy is her age because Robin was 12 in 1985. Robin was 12 and we're just about the. See, I was 12 and well, you're just slightly older than me, just a little, because I was born in 79. Okay, so we're like. So you and Tiffany Joy and I could totally hang out. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if she's still making quilts too. Yep. Maddie died in 2009. Her granddaughter Tiffany is mentioned in the obit. You see? This is the community. This is so great. Thank you, Word and Bird Nerd, for looking that up. So she did pass away. How cool that Maddie could be in the book, right? Because it was published in 2006. So she got to see that and her granddaughter's picture, you know, in the book before she passed away. It's awesome. But yeah, rest her soul, right? So demented. A child bride. You were a child bride. Okay, so that's our first quilt. Okay, so then, I haven't even done announcements, but I will. But first I have to tell you, did you see the last show? Did you watch it live? Did you see the replay? If you did, wait, no, not the last show, but the one before, about Throckmire, Dr. Jeanette Throckmire, the amazing quilter who, you know, she was a doctor. She was like #1 at her class in Harvard, right? Remember? And she made these amazing quilts. Well, and she started losing her hearing at a certain point in her life. And so she was practicing medicine, but she started losing hearing. Amazing. And in fact, our discussion about Dr. Jeanette Throckmire, a great name, not as good as Chloe Swan, what was her name? Anyway, Cleo Swan, okay. Not quite as good as that, but Dr. Throckmire is pretty good. And Jill Alex, it was Dr. Throckmire's story that prompted Jill Alex to be like, wasn't it? That she was like, there should be a biography of her, you know? Or maybe it was Susan McBride or something, but you've all been saying, you know, like someone should know these stories, someone should tell these stories of these quilt makers and like in a biography, you know. And so then this idea started happening with all of us, right, that there should be a book of like, you know, featuring like 12 brilliant quilt makers of in America, right? And you can all help me, and I have the list of people who are interested in helping me. And you know what? I got to tell you, I wrote up a little book proposal. That's right, yesterday. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read it to you soon. I mean, it's ready to read. Okay, we'll get to all of my things that I have ready to read to you that aren't ready, or ready to show you that aren't ready yet. But the book proposal is really good. It's good. And Dr. Throckmire is one of those quilt makers, you know? Anyway. So she sort of helped inspire the book. This is a Throckmire quilt, and I found it by accident. This was not one of the ones that we saw. And yes, Sonia saw it. Sonia saw the show about Throckmire. This quilt is called Water Lily, and it was made in 1945. It's up here on the corner. I scanned this in from a book that we're going to look at more. So this is a little pixelated or a little weird because it was scanned. But up here in the corner, in the upper left-hand corner, you can see 1945. And then down here in the middle, in the center, right in the center, Dr. Jeanette. Is that cool or what? Do you see that down there? I'm going to zoom in really, really tight, even though it might be kind of funky. It's kind of pixelated for me, but on the screen, maybe it looks okay. I love the cattails too. Very, very cool. So that's another Throckmire quilt I found totally by mistake. Just so great, you know? I've seen a lot of quilts with lilies and things and vines and so forth, but not many with cattails and lily pads, you know? So pretty awesome, I think. So I had to show that to you. Okay, Throckmire, check. We've got the quilts, the 3 quilts from Quilt Nerds that we got to go through. Here are a couple other quick things. I've got so much tonight. So the video, right? The Quilts and Fashion video. Here's the reason that, well, Saturday night I was really, really tired after the New Year's Eve show. I didn't go to bed till like 3:30 and I couldn't sleep in. So this video that I'm making, I've been working on it so hard. And when you see it, and you will see it soon, you'll see why it's taking so long. And the reason that I couldn't show it to you on Saturday is because it wasn't, you catch more flies with honey, okay? And the parts of this video are me direct address to the camera. Hang on, let me get a little bit bigger here because this is important. The video is about how you can't keep cutting up quilts to make coats out of, right? And to make Christmas ornaments and dog collars and all this stuff. If you've watched this show for any length of time, you know how strongly I feel about this. People have to stop cutting up antique and vintage quilts to make goddamn coats and boots and like ridiculous children's clothes that match their clothes. I mean, it's like, it's deeply depressing, right? So I'm making a video about this, right? So I've got the whole script. I can show you, I've scripted it, and I've made the slides I've made, the visuals that I've made. Dozens and dozens, I mean, of images, you know, to show people, because I can't just talk to people. I have to show them what I'm talking about. And so the slides look really great and all of this, but I filmed the part where I'm talking, right? And as I watched it back, I realized that, like, I'm angry. And it's okay for me to be angry. And there was a show a long time ago, I keep meaning to mention this, and there hasn't been the opportunity, but oh dear. I got angry about something. It was remember when we watched that Crazy Quilt? There was a Crazy Quilt movie made in the 1960s, and we watched the stupid preview for the stupid movie that was, and I got really upset because I hated it so much. And I remember like apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry, you know, I shouldn't get angry and all this. And later I was like, no, I'm gonna get angry. Sometimes I'm gonna get really angry, and that's fine. And not everybody will like it, but like, I'm gonna say it. Oh God, everybody brace yourselves. As a woman, I'm not supposed to get angry. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to like be cool, you know? And as a person, you shouldn't get too angry too much because you're wrong half the time anyway about what you're getting angry about. But sometimes you're not wrong about what you're getting angry about, and it's very okay to be angry. So I'm angry in the video. However, I was my performance basically in my direct address sort of narration was too dour. I was like, you know, quilts are being destroyed in the name of fashion. And I didn't talk like this, but I was like, every day quilts are being, you know, thousands of antique and vintage quilts are being destroyed in the name of fashion. And it was just like, ugh. And so everything I filmed, I have to do over because it's okay to be angry, but I have to be myself. I can't be like, you know. So I was performing in a way that wasn't good. And anyway, the point is that it feels like an emergency to get this thing done. But showing it when it was wrong like that, when the tone was wrong like that, was just, it would be completely pointless / detrimental, right? So I was tired, it wasn't ready, and I was like, I can't do this. So I felt bad because I made a big to-do about it, that I was gonna give you this sneak peek, and then it didn't happen. But you know what? What can I say? It was better. I know that it was better. Anyway. So thanks, Ivana. God bless you. Yes, feed puppy. Bees. Oh God. Someday I'll tell you about bees. And So get angry. Thank you, Feed Puppy. Damn it. I mean, I just, it's okay to be angry. Even saying it's okay to be angry is like, God, we're still there, aren't we? You know, even I'm still there. It's like, Mary, I told myself, I was like, Mary, it's okay if you're angry at stuff, you know? And I was like, God, I hate that I have to like reprogram myself, but that's the way it is. All right. Oh, Yvonne, you have my honey. Have my honey indeed. Okay. I still need to talk to you about those VHSs too. Okay. How am I going to do that? Oh, I'll put a note in my notes. Okay. Email Yvonne? Discord. I'll use the Discord. Discord, Yvonne. Oh, honey. Oh my God. I use honey every single day. Every day in my tea. Okay. Yes, Feed Puppy, I have. I've talked to people and reached out to people who do this, and more of the surveys are going out. So I'm surveying very neutrally, just getting an idea of the data about the designers who are doing quilt clothes and things. It's all been it's going to get sticky. It's going to get, you nerds, you might, I mean, if the video succeeds, it's going to make people mad. And we're going to just have to weather the storm. Okay, what do I have next? Okay, let's go to a beautiful thing. Okay, so that's the video update. Right before I do the Quilt Nerd quilts, 2 questions for you. Number 1, this is the 78th episode. 78th. What should we do at the 100th episode? What do you want? What do you want? Just think about it, you know? And maybe put ideas in the episode discussion tab in the Discord, or email me, twitch@maryfons.com. I don't know. That seems like a big deal, you know, 100 shows. So what should we do? I don't know. So I'm very welcome to ideas. And then the other thing is, and this is the last thing in the announcements box of my Quilt Nerd content plan. Sorry, just got it. There's always a plan. Okay. What do you think? What do you think about Quilters Newsletter Friday? Like, would you be interested in at least one Friday a month? I just scan in an entire issue of Quilters Newsletter magazine from like the 1980s, and we just read it together. I mean, we just go through it page by page. Because Cheyenne, God bless you, you know, I get gifts of Quilters Newsletter magazine. Bring them on. Everyone who wants to get rid of Quilters Newsletter magazines or just wants to contribute them to the show, I would love to have them. And so Cheyenne sent me a stack, right? So last night I couldn't sleep, so it's like 2 a.m. I don't know what's going on. And so it was 2 a.m. I hate not being able to sleep, but if I'm tossing and turning, I don't do that. I get up, I read, I'm not tossing and turning. I just get more and more anxious. So I'm on the couch reading Quilters Newsletter magazine, and I was like, oh God, this is so great. What do you think? What if isn't that a great idea? Okay, Dee Marie likes it. Quilters Newsletter Friday. Because the thing is it does take a lot of work to get this show together every day, every show. But if it's just like, hey man, we're just gonna read Quilters Newsletter together. We're gonna go through page by page. I just need to scan in the magazine, and we just hang out and flip through it. You're into it? Okay, good. Because that's easy. Then I don't have to be like, what am I going to do? And like structure all the content. I can just scan it in. Okay, cool. Noelle is into it. Hey, Meg is from Australia and saying Happy New Year. Hello, Australia. It's good to see you. Debbie's super into it. Debbie Rice, I'm so glad. Okay, good. It sounds awesome. Well, hell yeah. Okay. Here's something. And listen, of all the shows that I've done over the past however many months, I think Saturday was like my 4th one to cancel. One of them I did, but rescheduled because I was in Budapest. Anyway, you can trust me. I've added a lot of shows too, so don't worry when I tell you. Let me get my planner and make sure that I'm not making a mistake when I say we're doing it Friday night. Friday night, we're doing it, okay? After a New Year's Eve show, I should have paced myself and known that, but Friday night is Quilters Newsletter. I love this. Quilters Newsletter magazine, Friday night. I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to do it so late, so I'm like freaking out. We're going to do it at We're going to do it at what time did we do it tonight? 7 p.m. Should we do it at 7 or 8 p.m. Central? Because the Saturday stream is at 8 p.m. Should we just keep it at 8 p.m. so that it's just easy to remember? It's like, yeah, Friday and Saturday night, Quilt Nerd's on at 8. Yeah? Okay, 8. Yeah, I think I need to do it like that. So that's easy. I'll just scan in. Because let me tell you, I was looking at this Quilter's newsletter and it was like, oh my God. I mean, there's an ad for like a book of poems. And there's Jeffrey Gutchin wrote a column. Jeffrey Gutchin wrote a column in this issue that I was looking at where he's like, I got a letter. I mean, he flames this woman. He's like, I got a letter from a woman who, said that she had a mistake in the fabric that I printed. And, I'll read it to you. I mean, maybe I'll scan that issue. And it's like, he was like, I think probably it was user error. I mean, he just like completely like shade for days on this woman. It was fantastic. Okay, cool. I know. Court Quilts, I would love for there to be a Quilter's Newsletter digital archive. That would be amazing. Until then, we'll just do it on Friday. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, and 8 p.m. Central Time. Very doable. Super easy. I'm excited. And, this is maybe, well, it's not TMI. It's fine. It's fine. I don't divulge too much personal information, but Eric is out of town briefly, so I need some company, man. Okay. So, enough of that. I gotta get small. Look at this. Look at this. Here we go. Okay, so there's 3 Quilt Nerd quilts that didn't make the show and on Friday night. We gotta get them. This first one is from Quilting Nancy. Quilting Nancy, you're here, right? You're here, right? Quilting Nancy? I think you're here. Okay. Hey, Mantra Tantra. Love that name. So Demented, you're down for the thing. Okay, cool. Everybody seems like down for it. I'm good, Mantra. Oh, cool. Oh, Myra says there's a woman who does old issues of Victoria magazine. Oh my God, what if there's just a YouTube channel where I just do that? That could be that could be super fun. Interesting. You all have very good ideas. Okay. So Nancy, I didn't get, oh yes, here you are. Okay, so you're here. So here's what I need. So I got this wonderful picture and it has a beautiful name, River Log Cabin. I love it. I love that you did these cool tones, the jewel tone, the purple, and the aqua. I love it with the traditional red centers, and the log cabin quilt, the red traditionally sort of represents the heart of the home or the hearth, right, of the log cabin. It's gorgeous. So I have River Log Cabin. Amazing. Is there anything you want to say about this quilt? Because I got the picture and I love the picture, but there wasn't anything else about the quilt. If you want to share it, I hope you will. You don't have to. It speaks for itself. But we've got you. You're on the air. You're on the air. It's just wonderful. And the off-white is perfect. The off-white is really a great choice, You could have done snow whites, but you blended these different whites. It's just wonderful. Oh yeah, Dana asks, how did you quilt it? That's a great question. Is it Stitch in the Ditch? Maybe? Oh, in the Quilter's Newsletter magazine I was reading last night. No, maybe it was in this thing I'm going to show you tonight. Self-quilting. Self-quilting. That was an older term for stitching in the ditch. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Hey Donna. Okay, Donna is in Australia. What time? In Chicago, it's almost 8. 8 o'clock. Stitch in the Ditch. I quilted my very first quilt, Stitch in the Ditch, and to be honest with you, it's the best quilting I've ever done. I mean, it's never gonna fail you. It's a really, really nice quilt. You should be very proud. It really looks great. I'm so glad you sent it to me. And speaking of special shows for Quilt Nerd, that's the other thing is I'm going to do a quarterly Quilt Nerd roundup. Quilt Nerd quilt roundup. And I'll give you lots of advance notice. And then one show, every, I don't don't know, other month. You know, every once in a while we'll do like just a Quilt Nerd quilt show and tell, you know? Because that was really fun on Friday night. Okay, so round of applause for Nancy. Very, very, very nice. Yeah, it's a curved log cabin. Yeah. Or sunshine and shadow. Curved log cabin. Anyway, it's great. Log cabin is like my favorite quilt. Okay, so here, this is from SJ. This is SJ's quilt. Okay, look at this. So SJ says, I'm attaching a photo of a quilt I made in 2021. And of course, that was the deal. It was like, let's review the year in quilts. Let's talk about what we made. And SJ made this in 2021, last year. It's crazy. That's last year now. SJ says, I volunteered to sew a quilt for the Social Justice Sewing Academy's Quilts of Remembrance project. They paired me with Andy Finch's family. Andy was killed on December 28th, 2017. A prank phone caller mistakenly sent... hang on, I'm going to get rid of... A prank phone caller mistakenly sent police to his address. The caller was trying to seek revenge after an internet dispute with an entirely different person. When Andy opened his front door after hearing a noise outside, he was shot by a police sniper. Andy's family asked if the quilt could feature a poem that Andy had written, so that's what I did. It was very emotional for me to sew this quilt. I usually make quilts to celebrate happy life events for my friends and family. I don't think I could have done this project on my own, but really felt like Andy and I made it together. I hope his children make some epic quilt forts with it. I will carry this poem and the memory of Andy Finch forever in my heart. I hope in 2022 no families lose a loved one to gun violence. Wow. And the poem says, still here I stand through it all, ups and downs, all the smiles, all the frowns. I've been high, I've hit bottom, been loved and forgotten. All the lessons learned, all the time burned. Maybe I haven't won, but when it's all said and done, still here I stand. Wow. SJ, it's wonderful. It's really, really great. Wow. So, where am I here? I might get myself back here. Okay. Sorry. So here's a question for you. SJ's here, right? Are you here? Yeah, for sure. Heart Plus for sure. How did you do it? Is it paper pieced? I don't know that you mentioned it. Paper pieced? Is SJ here? I'm so sorry. Yes, you are. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a pleasure to share this. It's really a great poem. I love how it begins and ends with the same line. It's very, very nice. Story quilt. Yes, Padma, exactly. So is it paper piece then? I mean, paper piecing letters that's no joke because you have to do it reverse. How did you do it? Okay, it's the noteworthy pattern from Crimson Tate. That is so cool. Could you put the link, if you have it, if it's convenient for that? Because, I mean, paper piece letters, like, I love letters on quilts. I love writing on quilts. And I tried to, draft letters once. But, I mean, you have to do them, like, backwards. And it's just difficult. So if you've got it, great. She gives instructions for improv piecing each letter. That's so cool. We need to talk about Crimson Tate, too. Very cool person, Crimson Tate. Yeah, good for her for doing that kind of pattern. I agree with Dee Marie. Hey, thanks, SJ. So that's in the hang on. I'll see if I can get it in the YouTube. I can't see. Oh yeah, here. Okay, I think I got it over in the YouTube as well. Shasta says, "Oh, you're running late. That's all good. Yeah, you're gonna finish a quilt on 2/22/22. Oh, I love that. That's so great. Hang on, Shasta. What I meant to say, the comment I meant to read is that it's a very moving quilt. Shasta says, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, everybody in YouTube says the same. Thank you for gifting a sub, Brendan. Hi. You gifted a sub to Sparkly. Sparkly, welcome to the Quilt Nerd Club. It's the Quilt Nerd library. I don't know, something like that. We'll figure it out. But Dee Marie said, by the way, to SJ, you have remarkable strength to be able to finish this very emotional task indeed. I love what you said about it, SJ. Well done. Terrific. And so Shasta said, I wanted to make a quilt. I want to make a quilt that's finished on, okay, sorry. This is great. So Shasta says, I'm running late. I want to make a quilt that's finished on 2/2/22. So less than a month, February 2nd, 2022. Love that. But if she says if she doesn't get it done, she can finish it on 2/22/22. I think that's great. I like it. I think that's a goal. Sonia says it's reminiscent of Martin Luther. Here I stand. I can do no other. Exactly. Here I stand. Indeed. That seems like a pretty direct reference, right? Almost. I don't know. It's very powerful. Okay. All right. So then our third and final Quilt Nerd quilt comes from Miss Myra. I think this is a nice follow-up. Okay. And Myra writes, the one quilt I made in 2021. My first quilt ever. Can we just my first quilt ever. This is Myra's first quilt. You know what? You're so nerdy, Myra. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. This is your first quilt. Because anyway. My first time using quilting fabric by a particular designer. This is a lap quilt. The designer is Carrie Bloomston. She's lovely. I think I met her. Her Wonder collection. A whole collection, including the panel. The panel is called Tree of Wonder. The units on the back, and she has a picture of the back, are practice units. Lots of mistakes, she says. I did it. I made it while binge watching all, oh my God, 150 plus episodes of Quilty on YouTube. Oh God, Quilty. At the beginning of the year, God bless you, while my husband fought for his life at the hospital. More on that later. Yeah, I did the binding by hand, and big stitch quilted by hand all the details of the panel, and embroidered the label by hand too. And then there's this picture. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's so great. River log cabin, this wonderful quilt, this memorial quilt, and your first ever, what a great way, to this sort of coda, right, to our parade. It's just amazing. It's wonderful. And really great pattern, from Carrie Bloomston. I think her and her mom both design things. They're just fun, right? And I don't mean fun oh, that's fun, but they're fun. Their designs are, they're appealing. You want to engage with their fabrics and their designs, I see something. And before I move on, you know what I just realized? Quilting Nancy. I think I got going on the next thing because there's, I gotta do all this technical stuff. But I don't know that I think I might have missed. If you had something to say about your quilt, I don't want to move on from the Quilt Nerd quilts until I go over if you had anything else to share about your quilt. I'm so sorry. I just want to, I hope I didn't miss something. If you had something to say, I didn't mean to. Anyway, we love it. We love it. That's the long and short of that. Okay. All right. So very, very well done. And Myra, I hope your husband is better now. And you made your first quilt. I mean, it's just great. Quilting Nancy, it's all good. Okay, good. Ugh. Too many papers, I guess. Okay. Thank you for sending those, everybody. Okay, so here's the deal. I found something. I found something. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay. So one of my favorite people ever is Mary Kay Waldvogel. And she is a very special person. Yeah. And she, if you have done any kind of quilt nerd reading of any kind, you know that, let me move this over here. Mary Kay is kind of everywhere. In fact, well, that's better than nothing. Look at this. Look at that. This Georgia Quilts book. Gee, who was the first blurb on the back of the book? Mary Kay Waldvogel. This is what she says. Part history and part quilt education. Georgia Quilts is spectacular with revealing stories and fine research. Yeah. Mary Kay is in Knoxville, Tennessee, and she's a generous, kind person who's just cool. Like, she's just like really cool. Yeah, I am proud to call her a friend. She's a friend. And she's just awesome. Anyway, Mary Kay Waldvogel and Barbara Brackman, who is a goddess of quilt research and scholarship, they wrote the book, literally, on the Century of Progress quilt contest, right? And we haven't ever done like a full thing on the Century of Progress because there's a lot to talk about, okay? And, but the long and short of it is, hang on. In 1933, the worst year of the Great Depression, okay? The nadir, like 1933, 1934, like bad. The World's Fair happened in this very town in Chicago. Sears, right, was based in Chicago for a long time. The Sears Tower, now the Willis Tower. I still don't know who Willis is, but the Sears company sold sewing machines, right, and fabric. So for the World's Fair that was coming to Chicago, and this is Daniel Burnham, right? If you've ever read Devil in the White City, famous book, it's all about the Chicago World's Fair and this like scary guy who like killed all these women. It was horrible, H. Holmes or something like that. That's all about the Chicago World's Fair. And Chicago, I mean, like, it put Chicago on the map in so many ways culturally, like the Art Institute, right? But the aquarium and the field museum and all this, like, this was all the World's Fair stuff. It was a huge deal, very successful, fabulous moment for Chicago. Well, Sears was like, let's do a quilt contest. Some of you will know about this. It's in the story of quilt history in America, the Century of Progress quilt contest is like, it's definitely like an A-list moment in terms of the quilt history story, okay? So you have to think about the country at the time. People were struggling. I mean, 25% of people were out of work during the Great Depression, the worst of the Great Depression. In Chicago, I learned this from a Ken Burns documentary, okay? They shot animals in the zoo for meat. That happened, right? So it was really terrible. And we know that the quilts from the Great Depression, the Great Depression era, are pretty iconic too. All these, Grandmother's Flower Garden and Hexies and feed sack quilts came a little bit later, actually. But anyway, so this is iconic period, and 25,000 quilts were submitted to the Sears quilt contest for the World Columbian Exposition, the World's Fair of Chicago. The Century of Progress was the theme. The Century of Progress was the theme for the contest, or for the exhibition, for the whole World's Fair. And so Sears was like, here's the contest, make a quilt, and if you incorporate the Century of Progress into the theme, you'll get, bonus points, basically. You get extra prize money if you did this, okay? Yes, Court Quilts, Cheyenne, right? It says, I have the Patchwork Souvenirs book. Think I got it because you blurbed it in one of your episodes. Totally did. The book that Mary Kay and Barbara Brackman wrote on the Century of Progress, it's just, you gotta have it on your shelf, and it's called Patchwork Souvenirs, and it's out of print for now. I feel like Patchwork Souvenirs needs to have a second edition. This is my belief. I've said so to Mary Kay. It's within the realm of possibility. I know a publisher. Because these amazing quilts, right? There were 25,000 of them, okay? And what Barbara and Mary Kay had at the time that they made the book, well, there's been more quilts found, and like, there's more quilts now that we know of. And, the images in the book are great, but like I just dream of like super, super, super crazy high res detail shots of these different quilts and things. It'd be great. So anytime I come across a Century of Progress quilt, which doesn't happen that often. Hey, Raffle Waffle. We're just getting warmed up, really. If I ever, oh yeah, Sonia, totally. If ever I run across a Century of Progress quilt, which like, that doesn't happen, I'm like, and I have to email Mary Kay. And I've never really, maybe once before. Mary Kay has this magic touch. She finds things. She has Mary Kay magic. That's what it's called. She can just find amazing quilt history, and she has these wonderful leads, that lead her down the trail of wonderful quilt discoveries and things. It's really weird. She has Mary Kay magic. Well, I found like 3, oh no, here, I covered up the chat. See what I did? I tried to make the quilt bigger and there I go. Okay. I found, I came across 3 Century of Progress quilts, and I'm going to show them to you random. Look. This is a quilt made for the Century of Progress. Hang on. I gotta get you the, hold on. Hang on. Oh, why? Oh, I know. I gotta do this. Just feast your eyes on this. Okay. I'll zoom in. So remember, the theme of the World's Fair was the Century of Progress. So the quilts, and there's so many wonderful quilts that I can show you. There's so many wonderful ones, and every single quilt has like an amazing story. Just think about how people across America, many of them desperate people, took time to make a quilt, to send to Sears to enter this contest. The grand prize for the top quilt was like $1,700. You could buy a house. You could buy a kit home from Sears catalog for $1,700, and the bonus money, if you was like, I don't know, I forget, $250 or maybe even more than that if you incorporated the theme, the Century of Progress, and so the quilts that came out of this time period, out of this contest, to me, are some of the most brilliant, iconoclastic quilts that have ever been produced in America. They're amazing. So here's what I have to tell you about this quilt. And Sonia says that quilt has an Art Deco vibe, 1000%. And she has read The Devil in the White City. Super creepy book. Recommended, but it's very creepy. Okay, so here is... Hold on. I gotta get the right... I printed out all of these descriptions for so many quilts that I have to share with you tonight, but somehow I do not have this one. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's right here. So this is... It's called the Pieced... pieced and applique cotton transportation themed quilt. Look at the parachutes right here in the center, and then the planes going down into the gear. Okay, Century of Progress. So here's what it says. 1933. The quilt reportedly inspired by a newspaper. See, Skinner Auctions. Okay, that's who has this or had this for sale at one point. They don't know what they're talking about, but that's fine. A quilt reportedly inspired by a newspaper quilt contest, to depict the Century of Progress, centered with a lobed wheel, radiating colored stripes, appliqued with modes of transportation, including automobiles, airplanes, hot air balloons, steamships, and sailboats. Also, skyscraper silhouettes. Do you see them? They're like reflected on one side and the other. Isn't that amazing? Skyscrapers. The fabric in shades of white, navy, tan, gray, and light blue, backed with white cotton, minor wear and fading, 80 by 68 inches. Now, I am very astonished and just, I don't want to say I'm depressed because it's just so crazy. The asking price for this quilt I mean, I don't love guessing games, but it's like, what do you think? What do you think they asked for this quilt? Maybe by the tone of my voice, you can tell that I'm not pleased. This quilt, the asking price, and this was sold, by the way. This is a record of this quilt it was sold in 2012. October 28th, 2012 at 10 a.m. This was sold. The asking price was $400 to $600, and it was sold for $480. Meanwhile, some chick who I have a vendetta against this woman. I can't say her name because I don't want to get mad on the internet on a person. This woman who cuts up quilts, beautiful quilts, cuts them up to make dusters, and she models all her own cut up quilt clothes. She's selling quilt jackets for $1,500. She destroys quilts and sells them as clothes for $1,500, right? She destroys a beautiful log cabin, like something Quilting Nancy in another life, right? Would have made a quilt, a log cabin quilt. And this woman cuts them up and makes a jacket and sells them for $1,500. And this work of art was sold, 10 years ago for less than $500. I don't understand the world. I never will. I never will. I don't know if I want to sue. Expletive indeed. Redacted. My feelings, and I'm angry, and it's okay. But it's just like, tell me how we price a quilt. Tell me how. Tell me why it's so hard. There's like a blind spot in my cognition. Like my brain has like a blind spot. I can't understand it. Is it because and I don't get real feminist on this show just because I don't even know what that means half the time. But is it because women make quilts? Is it that simple? Is it like we can cut up this quilt that this woman labored over, this this log cabin quilt? We can cut it up and make it into a jacket because it doesn't matter. Is it because women made? And then it's like we can take this quilt that is like an Art Deco painting. And we won't try to find who made it, and we'll sell it for under $500. Is it because it's a woman? I don't know. I don't know. When I think about it, I'm like, it can't be that. It can't be that. But is it? God. I try. I'm supposed to do this lecture at QuiltCon, on quilts and fine art. I still don't know what the hell I'm supposed to say. I don't know. Oy. It's just crazy. I know. Oh, listen, Noelle. Noelle's like, you got to be just as mad at the schmuck who bought it. Listen, what I'm hoping is, Mary Kay Waldvogel has a secret store of these Century of Progress quilts. Damn it. It should. Listen, Myra, I agree. It ought to be in Nebraska. And MC John says yes. Oh yeah. Listen, that's a bee moment in Hicks. It's a bee in my bonnet. And yeah, women, I know the women, what's really weird about the whole quilt clothes thing is that I think, well, except for this one jerk in Los Angeles, but it's women making these quilt clothes. And so there's this piece of me who's like, well, quilts once again are supporting women economically. It's like that one thing that's like, ooh, it sticks in my craw. It's like, well, quilts are always there for us, aren't they? To help us make a living. Women have made money from quilts for so long. And, that dummy who's doing it I just want to say her name so bad because she's so awful, but I won't. It doesn't help anything. Oy. Anyway, the Bronte sisters pretending. Yeah, Word and Bird Nerd. The Bronte sisters, the Bronte sisters, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, Shirley. Why am I not thinking of the other one that's really a big deal? They had to publish under a male name. They had to have pen names because nobody would publish their books because they were women. It's ridiculous. Okay, so here's another one because there were three. Okay, there were three. Look at this one. This is the best picture I have of it. Look at this. Okay, presidents. Look, this person, it says our presidents up at the top. I emailed these to Mary Kay and I was like, ugh, I think I found quilts that you haven't found yet, which is not a bragging moment. It's just I found something. It's like a child bringing like their parent, like, or like a cat, getting a bird and then dropping it on the doorstep, very proud of themselves. Like, that's how I felt. Hey, Riggs. Oh, Riggs, I already said hi to you. But anyway, it's good to see you again in the chat. So I don't know if she's seen these before. I just feel like they're really random because this auction site, Skinner Antiques or Skinner Auctions, whatever, they did not describe the last quilt that we just looked at as being part of the Century of Progress Sears Exposition quilt. They didn't know what they had. So I feel like these are kind of like, they might be new to Mary Kay. So it says our presidents up at the top. And then this person has spelled out letter by letter, George Washington, J. Adams, and the year, George Washington, 1789, J. Adams, 1797, T. Jefferson, 1801. I mean, unbelievable, right? All the way down to Roosevelt in 1933. Isn't that crazy? Oh yeah, and Myra, there's your HSTs. The HSTs and the letters. And if you haven't ever made a quilt, it's like this is it's a lot. But half square triangles, the little blocks that they look like blocks, right? These little like diamonds, whatever. They're not that bad. Myra's making 10,000 of them on her second quilt ever. You can really do it. And like letters, okay, that's kind of tough, but there's patterns for these things. I'm just saying, like, quilts that you see that don't have a ton of like feathery quilting and like tulip vines and stuff, you can do this. You can make a quilt with letters and half square triangles like this. You can totally do it. You can do it. And is this perfect, by the way? Are all of her rows just perfectly lined up? This is this is an example of what I mean when I say I am so tired of the perfection. I'm tired of the commercialization. I'm tired of the perfect, like, sample ready sort of quilt. I mean, we got off track, I think, and like the originality and the imperfection of the quilts that are made, that used to be made. I mean, this woman made this thing and she entered it into a contest, okay? It wasn't like, I made this quilt and it's fine. Like, no, I have a vision. I'm going to do this thing today. I mean, you would have to be like, well, I went for like an improvisationally, not improvisationally because it's not improvised, but like I would go, like she would be like, well, I wanted it to be irregular, or I wanted it to be, the W or wonky or something. But it's like, no, it's just beautiful. That's all it is. It's just beautiful. And I want to make quilts that have a soul, and this quilt does, and it's not perfect, and I don't care about perfect anymore. I used to have to care about it, and now I don't want it. I run from it. Yeah, wonky HSTs. I mean, this thing, it's I don't want to say it's all over the place. It's just her hand is in it. Let's put it that way, and it's perfect. Yeah, listen, you know what? I gotta remember my soundboard. And you know what? This is the first sound cue we ever had. I think this is appropriate as well. That's all I can play because of copyright. Okay, so this one, quilts should look handmade. Agreed. Tula Pink quoted Sarah Fielke. Quilts should look handmade. I could not agree more. So the description for this one, by the way, is, we probably could say more than, okay, so Massachusetts, 1933. The quilt is composed of a central design with 2 printed flags. You saw those up at the top, right? 48 stars. See, they don't know what they're talking about. Flanking an embroidered eagle badge and printed cotton. Applique lettering reading our presidents. Okay, da-da-da-da-da. Yes, they're telling us what we can see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. 90 by 65 inches. This was sold in Oh, it's unsold. It says unsold. Interesting. It does not have an asking price. Interesting. Well, it was listed in 2005. I don't know what that means. Okay, there's one more. There's one more, and then we'll take a break, and then, because I don't want you to go away. After we take a break, I am going to show you. I found it. I found my favorite quilt I've ever seen. And I don't want you to read ahead, but if you want to go to Instagram, you can see what it is. I posted it on Instagram, and I glanced at my Instagram. Well, I had to post that the show was happening tonight, right? I always do that. I don't know if it matters or not, but I try to do it. And I glanced at, I'll be honest. Let me just be honest. I clicked to see how many likes the quilt had gotten, because I said it's my favorite quilt I've ever seen. Less than 200. That's not good. I can't believe it. I'm shocked and saddened. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I know, and I saw some of you nerds liked it, by the way. I saw that. So I'm going to show it to you. I'm not wrong. It's my favorite quilt I've ever seen. So that's what we're going to look at after the break. Don't read ahead. Don't go to my Instagram. But so we'll do that, and then we're going to talk about Turkey Red. We're going to talk about Turkey Red from this book. Clues in the Calico, Barbara Brackman. This is so cool. I'm gonna read to you what she says about Turkey Red and show you some amazing quilts. You have to stick around because it's Tuesday night. Okay, so here's this other one. Flags of the World, Century of Progress, Chicago, 1933. Is it the most exquisite, quilt that I've seen from the Century of Progress era? I mean, I've liked other ones more, but this is so cool. Flags of the World. Flags of the World. Is the Chicago flag on here? Interesting. Well, no, but she's got all these. I'm sure there's a reason for the ones she picked, right? Japan, Brazil, Denmark, I think. Anyway, beautiful. The quilting is beautiful. Everything's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And it says, look, Century of Progress, 1933. So cool. They're just so original. And her lettering is really amazing. I mean, it's amazing. And also not perfect, right? Reportedly made in Indiana, 1933, 80 by 71. It's interesting. The provenance, it says, estate of Susan Parrish, P-A-R-R-I-S-H. When I hear the name Parrish with two R's, I don't know, I think of that very famous design firm in New York City, Sister Hadley Parrish. I don't know. They bought G's Ben quilts. They were into that in the 1960s. Anyway. Yep. Myra says that the quilt that she's talking about, imperfect, totally reflects that period of my life, which is why every time I hug myself with it, I feel so grateful to have it as a testament that we survived all that. Exactly. Nora over in YouTube land says Mary Kay is one of the 6 know-it-alls. I should absolutely plug the show. Their YouTube channel, one of their shows, their first show is on my YouTube channel. I don't know how to get it to their YouTube channel, if I can transfer it, but I help them with their first show. It's, Nora, can you help me? It's Julie Silber, Mary Kay Waldvogel, Barbara Brackman, Lynn Bassett. Who else? There's 2 others. I can't think of the name. I can't think of their names. It's so embarrassing. Anyway, they do a show. It's on Facebook Live, or is it on YouTube now? Anyway, they're the 6 know-it-alls. And I mean, if you think this show is nerdy, you ain't seen nothing. And I need to catch up on them because they're really wonderful. You can't, and Nora, you can't say enough about their videos. Nora, can you put into the chat a link to, I guess, their YouTube channel? Do they have a YouTube channel just for that now? If you have it, it would be great if you could copy it and paste it into the YouTube chat, and then I'll put it in the Twitch chat, okay? Alex Anderson has been a guest. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. The flags are perfect. The flags here are absolutely perfect. Okay. All right, everybody. So that is that. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with my favorite quilt. What's my favorite quilt? You'll get it. Okay. So see you in just a second. Okay. Okay. Oh, I almost did it. But I didn't do it. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Hope that you had a nice break. I put the old school soundtrack, back in the mix now that the holidays are said and done. And I like that. I miss that music. Okay. Let's see. What have we got here? Okay, we've got my favorite quilt. So here's what's going to happen in the second half of the show. I'm going to go through some quilts for you. And I want to talk about turkey red. So the first thing is that I'm going to show you some quilts that I found on that same website that I found those Century of Progress quilts on. The Skinner Auctions site, okay, skinnerauctions.com, I think. They have a lot of quilts. They have a lot. Now, a lot of them are not available. Like, we talked about the one was sold, long ago or something. But there are amazing quilts there. Many of them are really amazing. And so I kept looking through these quilts on that site, and I was like, I gotta just show some of these quilts. I just want to show them. So I'm going to go through some of the most amazing ones that I saw, and then the last of them, the last 10 or so of them, maybe more, maybe 12, are red. They have red in them. And as I was looking through my books that I have here at home, I came across Clues in the Calico, which is a guide to identifying and dating antique quilts by Barbara Brackman. And the Georgia quilt, it was frustrating because it's such a nice book that I didn't want to break the spine to get the scan. There's so many great quilts I want to scan, but that book, I'd really have to damage it to really get a good scan. Even the candy stripe quilt that I did tonight, the edge is sort of blurry because I didn't want to hurt the book when I was scanning things. But this one, I don't know why, but Clues in the Calico, this book is a mess. It is completely falling apart. Like, it's completely, so when I saw that, I was like, well, that'll scan nicely. And so I took it off the shelf and flipped through, and I was like, oh, this is such a great book. People are always asking about dating quilts, and I don't know much about dating quilts. I should read this whole book. And so I flipped through to find kind of a cool, like a nice little nugget, right, to share with you. And so chapter 4 is Clues in Color and Dyes. And Barbara Brackman goes through clues in green fabric, clues in blue fabric, clues in red fabric. So you can look, color by color in a quilt and find clues to its date, by color. I think that's so great, Barbara Brackman. The Brack. So I'm going to read to you Clues in Red. I'll read to you some of what she says, clues in red, about turkey red, because quilters are always talking about turkey red. Oh, Mother Nature, Kinko's will put a spiral spine on it, really? Hey, okay, Proud, thank you so much for subscribing with your Prime membership. I really appreciate it. That's so cool. I really appreciate it. It just makes me, it encourages me, it encourages me that maybe we got something here. Okay, good. Okay, great. Taking a photo. Yeah, Meg, I have tried taking a photo, and have done that. And that's probably what I should have done. I don't know. Why didn't I do that? I don't know. I probably just should have done that. Here's the problem. Not that this is that interesting, but the only beef I have with this book is how damn tight the quilts are to the gutter. It's really tight. Note to self. Actually, it's really true. If you're in the quilt publishing business, give us a bigger gutter, man, because we want images of these things. Okay. So before we get to turkey red, though, because it's so interesting, here are some of these quilts. So this, I don't know. I look at a lot of quilts, and I love this quilt. I think it's my favorite quilt. And maybe you're underwhelmed. But this quilt was sold in 2009 for $118. Pieced cotton fan pattern. Okay. early to mid 20th century. This is from the Skinner place. The quilt is centered with a row of 5 blue and white fan motifs on a gray-blue ground. I'm thinking that gray-blue was another color. It looks faded. Bordered by red, yellow, and gray fabrics. Backed woven striped cotton fabric. Quilted with butterfly and flower motifs, which I cannot see, and diamond and outline stitching. I mean, no, okay, I can see the picture is terrible. I can see the butterflies. Yeah, okay, I can see the butterflies here. Yeah, there's butterflies around the edge. They're amazing. It's 66 by 43 inches. Okay, so you like what you like, right? I can't explain it. I guess I can't. It looks I mean, the stripe, the way this, I mean, it's a ladder. It's a ladder. It's an abstract ladder. It's got this orange woven stripe fabric that goes off the frame at the top, but does not go off the frame at the bottom. It's blue and white fans on like black, but it looks like chambray, and I love chambray. I don't like buttercream yellow, but I love it here. It's somehow the same value as the blue, you know, like the same saturation or something. So it's completely, like, it's so pleasing to my eye. I saw it and I was like, ugh. I mean, it's my favorite quilt I've ever seen. It's my favorite quilt. And it's 66 by 43. So here's the other thing. Oh, I'm so glad you write down, hi. Yeah, the red and the gray. I mean, I agree. Oh yeah, and by the way, that there's the orange woven, but then this is not the same fabric. This red, it's not the same. It's different. It's so bold. It's such a bold choice. And I mean, I don't know. Clues in the Calico. Barbara Brackman could probably tell us what this fabric out here was. It's obviously faded, but it's faded into this like amazing gray, like this like I don't know, grayish. It's very grayish, but and the butterflies, like I don't even like butterflies, but it's perfect. Everything's perfect on it. But it looks like an art quilt, right? Like it should be on a wall. It should be on a wall in my house. But it's 66 by 43. It's throw size. 60 by 80. Well, it's a little smaller than throw size. Throw size is like 60 by 80 in general. But Rod Walker says the title should be 4 fans for Fons. Ooh! It's actually 5, but it still works. 5 fans for Fons. But it's like you could have it on your lap, but you could also hang it. You could also put it under glass in a frame if you wanted to. And it could be the piece de resistance when you entered your home, you know, your luxury villa. You know, it could be the piece above the beautiful staircase, right? In your like beautiful mid-century modern, you know, escape, little country escape in your Frank Lloyd Wright Falling Water home. I mean, it's just awesome. It's so great. I love it so much. I just look, there's a kind of small. Well, it's really small, but you know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it's peak quilt. Peak quilt. Here's a detail of it. Anyway, what can I say? I found it. I mean, if you had to pick one, you know, what's your favorite quilt? I mentioned this on that show a long time ago, and you know that someone very wise, a writer, once asked me, you know, who to write down. She asked us all in this workshop to write down who your 5 favorite poets and your 5 favorite writers, your 5 favorite novelists, your 5 favorite classical, you know, composers, and all this. And it's like most of us couldn't come up with 5, and her sort of point to the whole thing was you should have 5. You should know, as like a person in the world, as like a whole person, to be able to experience the world and like have a sense of like who you are, and you should have like favorites of these things. And if I had to pick a favorite quilt, I think I should have one. And this is it. This is my favorite one. Pieced or applique? Great question. Write down. So it's pieced. I don't know. But hey, what are you doing here? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Oh, okay. I don't like that it keeps doing that. I don't know why. Oh, okay, here. So, I mean, this is pieced. I can see stitches here, right? Well, I mean, obviously the big pieces are pieced. But what's up with this? Whoa, what is that seam? There's like no, that might be just the quilting. I think it's a pieced fan, right down. I think it's a pieced fan. Log cabin. Log cabin. Interesting. Oh, wait, here. Okay, this is just the description I just copied for you. Sold for $119. My soul for $119. That's what I say. Yep. Quirk Quilts, this is great. Quirk Quilt says, I saw a photo of a midway constructed giant dahlia, and I loved it as is. It looked like a shell. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see, Dee Marie. You're saying a log cabin with three-quarter inch logs is your favorite quilt. That's awesome. Think about what your favorite quilt is, right? It may take you a long time to think about it or figure it out or see it, but maybe it's good to know, Yeah. Oh, I would love to know. Ooh, Fleur Mattern. Ooh, and YouTube says abstract spiral staircase is what I see. Exactly. I see it's giving glamour and spiral staircase and but just oh God, it's so good. Anyway, if you ever see it, let me know. Okay, that's all. All right, so let's look at some of these other amazing quilts. Look at this quilt. Now this, they don't, like I said, Skinner Antique or Skinner Auctions. I don't think they know what they have. Who among you thinks that this is a Welsh quilt? That this is a quilt from Wales? Well, Susan Armichael, you and I are kindred spirits, which we know, but you like animals on quilts. So do I. And speaking of animals on quilts, these are cats. Is this adorable or what? So this, I mean, the Welsh quilts, we haven't talked about Welsh quilts on the show yet, specifically, but the Welsh Quilt Center, I have a folder started on that place, which may be closed now. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll talk about it. I'll figure it out. But Welsh quilts are amazing. Yeah, right down. Totally. This is a Welsh quilt. It's wool. This is what Skinner has to say about it. Pieced and appliqued wool quilt with cats. America, probably early 20th century. I mean, no. I mean, they didn't know about the Century of Progress exhibit. So I just don't trust them. I mean, it's okay. They can't be experts about everything, but gee, is it a theme for the evening that maybe, they didn't care enough about the quilts to really know? And by the way, how cool of a gig would that be to be the resident quilt expert for an auction house? That'd be cool. Write down, yes, let's all go to Wales together. When I'm back in the UK, our trip to Wales, I mean, I need a production company to foot the bill for a Quilt Nerd traveling show. Maybe I'll ask Mike at Quiltful. Maybe he'll do it. He was like, pitch me an idea. I was like, okay. So here's what they say. So I've called it the Welsh wool applique. They didn't. 5 appliqued black cat figures with glass button eyes. Aren't they wonderful? Aren't they just adorable? Oh, they're so sweet. Aren't they sweet? Cat quilts, that'd be a fun thing. There's a lot of cats in those old applique quilts. I'm not really a cat person, but I just want to say, I'm not a Twitter person either, but do you know jorts? Do you know the story of jorts? I'm not going to go into it, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know. I love jorts so much. Cat quilts. Okay, we'll talk about those. Cat quilts. Yeah, that totally gets a Harriet Powers aardvark for sure. The contrast of the cats is just, it's dynamite. And that's the thing is these Welsh quilts, they're the contrast that they have, those deep blues and that vibrant crimson with black. It's like navy, black, gray, and red. If you've got shapes like this and square quilts, I find that the quilts that I seem to see that come from that part of the world are square. They are not rectangular, they're square. and they're these patches of these different wool. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just like obvious, but you never know. You know, that's why quilts are so interesting because, yeah, you just don't know. Glass button eyes. That's kind of cool, right? 3 tulips. Tulips? Oh yeah, tulips. Obviously, okay. And surrounded by concentric square borders with geometric capital T and orange peel elements. Assorted woven solid colors, wool. It's backed with buff colored woven wool panels and all over quilting in a shell pattern. Interesting. That's hard to see. Oh, no, we can see it. Hang on. Yeah, you can see it. It's like a clamshell quilting pattern. Over here in the black, you might be able to see it. Jeans and jorts. Okay. Oh my God, jorts, you know. Holmes knows. And the Flinster jorts. Episode on Welsh quilts, Padma, 1000%. You know what? I think it's actually... Look at this. Look at this. Episode 79. Do you see that? Welsh Quilt Center. Done. I don't always follow my penciled in plans, but now I will. Thursday. Be there. But yeah, it's a perfect thing to do. So... Square art quilts. Dee Dee Brucro says, square art quilts make me so happy. Yeah. And high contrast quilts make me happy. So like Welsh quilts, I'm here for it. And it says one other thing here. So the estimate for this quilt was, it's 81 by 82, sorry. And then the estimate says $3,000 to $5,000. And I have on most of these, if it was sold, what it was sold for, but why don't I have it on this one? I don't know, but I can look it up. But for now, it says some elements are machine stitched. There are a few cotton or cotton and wool blend segments, one velvet segment. That's interesting. There are a few small holes. Most of the cat stitched thread whiskers are worn off. Minor light stains, which show more on the light backing than on the face. Interesting. So that's cool. I'm telling you, I think there were 485 hits on this Skinner website. And so hat or t-shirt shape. Yeah, the T shape, Noelle. Yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes that T block gets credited as being like a temperance quilt thing, but the T block has been around for a long time. But yeah, you know what? The T block. See, that's the thing. That's why the show will go on forever, because I can just do like a whole show on like churn dash. Like there's hundreds and hundreds, thousands of quilt blocks. So if I ever just don't know what to do, I'll just like focus on like, you know, churn dash block or T block. Yeah. Okay, so this one I picked because have you seen a double wedding ring like this? I haven't. Elle Riggs says her favorite quilt is always the one she's working on until it isn't. Yeah. Mine's always the one I'm working on until I'm like 7/8 finished with it, and then I hate it. So this one, I mean, look at this. This is crazy. I've never seen a double wedding ring quite like this. Maybe it's common. Maybe you've seen it. I haven't seen it. It's so interesting. It's so difficult. Don't you think that would be difficult? 1930s. That's that 1930s green. Pieced with solid red, green, and peach tone fabrics. I mean, it's possible that the peach was a different color originally, but no, it's peach. It was peach. The quilting is ridiculous. I mean, look at the tiny. SJ says this is her favorite. How is it made? No idea. Oh, Quirk Quilts. The cat quilt sold for $5,629. Y'all are good. I love it. It's like we're like if we were spies or we were like if we were criminals, we'd be a great team, like Ocean's 11. Because you're so good at like Googling things and finding things. Okay. You know what I'm saying. We're a good crime unit. Okay. So this is the last one that I don't have the sale price for. All my other ones have it. I don't know why they don't have it. So if you want to, look at this one. It's all from the Skinner website. Estate of Susan Parrish again. Just interesting. I don't know. It's 85 by 68. And I mean, wow, right? Cue caper music. Exactly. Exactly. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Isn't that Pink Panther? Does that count? I don't know. Yeah, it's great, right? It's a cool way to make a double wedding ring. I agree. Here's a detail of it. I don't have details for all of these, but yeah, it's just woof. The quilting is really amazing. This tiny grid and then the curves. I don't know. It's just way cool. Yeah, it does look like an orange peel. That's the thing, So Demented. That's exactly right. Like, it looks like an orange peel quilt and a double wedding ring. Had a love child, you know? The estimate for it was $600 to $800. Oceans, oh my God. SJ, this is for you. Because she said, Ocean's 11 as quilters. Free Motions 11. No, you're in trouble. I've changed my mind. Okay. The back is this yellow. Okay, yeah, the back is the yellow, and that's just way cool. Okay, so the next one. Ooh, the next one. Look at this. So this one is. This one is another fair quilt, but it's the World's Fair. It's a different fair, okay? It's a different fair. Hold on. World's Fair. Okay, 1939. So this is not the world. This is not the World's Fair of Chicago. This is a 1939 World's Fair quilt that was in St. Louis. St. Louis. Why am I leading with the ones where my notes are not great? I spent ages on these notes, like getting them all ready to go, but that's fine. I have the entry right here. 1939, hand stitched. The center depicts the trilon and perisphere symbol. Trilon and perisphere symbol of the fair. In white cotton against a blue cotton field, surrounded by a band of trilon and perisphere symbols, and bordered by blue state images on a white background. 98 by 80. Estimate $800 to $1,200. So help me, nerds. Help me. I'm going to start like really relying on you for certain things, I guess. It was St. Louis or something, right? Like there was a World's Fair. Like the next one happened, you know, I guess 5 years later or something. I don't know that there was a big contest. There may have been, but there are other fair quilts that I've seen, and this one obviously is one of them. And it's wonderful, right? And so the Century of Progress, there was a symbol too for the fair in Chicago, and it was like this ray of light, this like woman, like very Art Deco-y-ish woman. What was it called? I don't know. It had a name, you know, the Torch of Progress or something like that. And a lot of the quilt makers incorporated that into their quilts. And this quilt also, come back to this one, also incorporated that, what does it say? The trilon and perisphere. So future-y, right? Okay, bye, So Demented. Okay, we'll see you on the replay. It's great to see you. Thank you for coming. All of the state insignias. Yeah, I mean, just the craftsmanship on this. Look at this. Look at the quilting. It's crazy. It's crazy. Every state was singled out with grid quilting. Now, that's interesting now. I mean, is there batting? I don't think there's batting. And now, am I completely off base here? Does that look machine stitched? I mean, here, let me disappear myself. I mean, right? That to me looks pretty punched. Like that's a very perforated fabric. Thoughts on this? That looks machine. That looks like a machine. Maga, I love it too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's better to zoom out. But it just looks really, I just don't know that hand quilting gets you those size holes and that uniformity. I don't know. It's just interesting. Okay. And then here, I just want to look at the piecing here. It's pretty great. And those are applique, obviously. But yeah, I mean, not even enough for machine. I don't know, muslin back. I think so, Susan. I think it's a muslin back. But like, look at how straight. I'm not saying that hand quilting can't be that straight, but there's something about it. Well, I don't know. It's just interesting because machine quilting a quilt was not a thing at that time. Machine piecing, 1,000%. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Feed Puppy, great call. You can get some tight stitches without batting. Yeah, MC John, you know what? After looking at this part, because look, right here. This is not like completely uniform. And, if you draw really great lines, you can stitch on the lines and you're going to get straight lines, right? So I agree. But you see why I was like curious, right? Because it was so... Yeah, it was so tight. I don't know. It is weird though, right? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, regardless, it's wonderful, isn't it? Noelle asks, are they quilted in... Hold on. Are they quilted... One second. In counties. Look at Iowa. We would know. Yeah, Noelle, we would know. Are they quilted in counties? Oh, like is each... I don't think I see what you're asking is did she quilt the states reflecting the counties? Like, are the quilting stitches reflecting the shape of the state vis-a-vis the counties? I don't think so because I can see the grid here, but I wouldn't have put it past her, right? Someone who did this. The colors have held up totally. Let's just look at the quilt in toto one more time. 1789 to 1939. Amazing. The colors are perfect. And look at the gradation. I mean, I think that's why it looks so like modern to me. I mean, the way that the colors on the borders and the color of the tree, that center medallion, it's just wonderful, It's so good. It's so good. Okay. All right, now this one. This one is a pieced and appliqued cotton Indian quilt motif. I mean, look, this is just a parade of amazing quilts. What can I say? I just had to share. 1940s, so says Skinner. Estate of Susan Parrish. Definitely am loving her taste in quilts. Just so unusual, right? Singular, original. Composed of solid red and blue cotton with centralized stylized Indian head with feather bonnet and buffalo horns, surrounded by smaller stylized designs appliqued onto a white cotton ground. They're describing it. 88 by 82. Estimate $800 to $1,200. Yeah, the center medallion. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I've seen quilts in the 1940s. There's one that I posted at my Instagram a long time ago, but it was a World War II era quilt that was made by, God, can I find it? An indigenous quilt maker. I don't know if I should try to dig in. I think it might take me a long time, but it was interesting that there were symbols on the quilt that were representative of like the unit, the battalion. I don't know my military terms at all, but they were insignias and things for that particular unit or something, and it was a World War II era and World War II referencing quilt made by a Native American who served in the war. It was just really, really, really interesting. I gotta find that for you all. But so I don't know. We don't know anything more than what they say here. Obviously, an expert in this particular field of quilt research could tell us more, maybe, or just help us. But these symbols are they seem very specific to me. I mean, you could make a quilt as a person who doesn't know much about Native American tradition and put a guy in a headdress right on it or something, but then you see, look, this beetle up here is very specific. This I think it's a wheel of life up here. This is very specific. We actually looked on Thanksgiving. We looked at some Native American quilt makers, and that motif showed up several times. This bird. But you see the bird, perhaps you've seen certain places, but then these particular shapes and motifs, these seem like deep cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, they seem like legitimate, very intentional parts of the quilt. Yes, and yes, I would love to know about the maker. Robin, we'll see you in the replay. I'm so glad that you could come, and I mean, I've been on for a long time. I don't know. It's 9:00. I just can't stop. But I'm really glad that you came to the show. And yeah, there was something else. We had a connection tonight in many ways. And yes, that's why it's so important. Mega says it's so important to put labels on our quilts. It's so true. And yeah. So a very intriguing piece, I think. I mean, this here, it's so beautiful. Like, I don't know what that symbol represents, but it's just so great. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. Okay. So that was one of the ones I pulled out of the Skinner world. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Myra. You got to go to a Zoom meeting? Ooh. Okay, maybe it'll be really nice. Maybe it'll be fun. Okay, well, good luck. Thanks, Myra, for you and for your quilt. It was amazing. I'm so glad that and good luck on the HSTs. You'll get there. Just keep making them. My mom says it's really hard to get a quilt done that you're not working on, so you got to keep doing it. Okay. Wait, no, hold on. Okay, that's just a placeholder. Okay, I'm skipping that. This one, I actually have to skip to. I have to come back to it. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Okay, this one is the one I had to get to. Sorry. The other ones we can talk about, but there's a bunch more that are even better. Okay, this is Patriotic Eagle. So this one sold for $12,500 in August of last year, of 2021. So this one is one of the most recent quilts that the most recently sold quilts that I saw on the site, like by a long shot. Most of them, well, there were some sold in 2019, but I guess one in 2020, but 2021 is pretty recent. And Patriotic Eagle is what they call it. Patriotic Applique quilt with eagle, and I've got a lot of detail shots of this quilt, by the way. 1854. Okay, look at that. Look at how, I'm so glad I have details so we don't have to try too hard to look at this stuff. But so many great quilts. I know, write down. I'm so glad you like them. 1854, the central blue cotton eagle holds a shield with a ring of red stars, okay, above a pair of crossed United States flags, framed within a ring of meandering vines and eagles at the corners. The quilt is inscribed Liberty, E pluribus unum, and look down here, Mary Ann Beachley, Fairfield, March 10, 1854. So this is signed, right? Like, mega, this does have a label on it, quote unquote. Inscriptions likely pattern for unfinished applique or needlework. Oh, so they're saying it might have been, the sketch where she, was going to put, where it was, she wasn't done. This wasn't finished. But it's quilted though. See, I don't think they know what they're talking about. Or, well, I don't know. If you add embroidery, I can't believe I don't know the answer to this, but I don't. If you're going to embroider a quilt, would you quilt it first? You probably would, right? Yeah, of course you would, right? Well, if it was all by hand, you probably wouldn't have to worry too much about it. But if you're going to machine quilt a quilt, you would have to do embroidery after, right? Oh, man. 2021 is pretty recent. Finally, a decent price. Sujan, I completely agree. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the detail shots, and then we'll look at the big thing again. Look at this. Oh, it's so tiny. This quilt, 1854. It looks old because it is. It's old. Look at the detail on the feet. That's so crazy. Are those drawn? Is that ink? It looks like ink. So the estimate, by the way, here, the talons, thank you, Raffle, exactly. The estimate was $800 to $1,200, by the way. Suchan. Or wait, who said it was a decent price? Okay, so Sujan says it's done both ways. Sometimes embroidery is done before quilting, sometimes after. That's really good to know, because, I've never embroidered a quilt. Oh, wait, let me spin this around. Hold on. Rotate left. Let's rotate it one more time. Oops, sorry. One more time. Okay. So this quilt, when I talk about turkey red a little bit, am I going to get to turkey red? I don't know. We'll see. It's just interesting thinking about turkey red in relation to these older quilts, right? Because people talk about turkey red and it's like this, they think it's a color. I thought it was a color for a long time, turkey red, like burnt orange or seafoam green, but turkey red actually refers to Turkey, the country, right? The place where this particular red dye, this color fast red dye came from originally. So just really interesting. But the way this is fading, seems to imply, from what I've read, that it would be turkey red. It's a color fast red, and you don't always get that. Here's this. I'm going to flip it for you one more time. Yep. I might have to do that to a couple of these. The shape of the eagle is so beautiful. It's so elegant, right? Turkey red. Okay, Feed Puppy, we'll do turkey red. I'm not gonna tease you with turkey red and then not do turkey red. What's wrong with me? I'm not gonna do that. But thank you, because that gives me the pep to do it. Here's a question. Why did people do this when they were writing things? Why is the Y small? In the Liberty. It looks so cool, but why? And can we get away with it now? Can we get away with it now? I don't know. Okay. Look at this. Reverse applique, right? On the flag. Amazing. So this just sold last year. I always wonder when I see these really amazing quilts that are sold. It doesn't make any sense because a lot of different people are in the business of buying quilts, but I always think, did Julie Silver buy that? Like, did the Quilt Museum, did the International Quilt Museum buy this quilt? Who bought it? Probably a collector, a private collector or something. I don't know. Mary Annie Beachley, Fairfield. Fairfield where? I don't know. There's lots of Fairfields. March 10th, 1856. This says 1856 on the quilt, but the description says 1854. Feed Puppy, literally why? Yeah, I see you. You're very funny. It's very good. Okay, it is. It's amazing. Okay, little bit of a crease, little bit of dirt. That's okay. Okay, feathers. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's the back. Those creases don't come out. They just don't come out. You got to rotate your quilts. When you're storing them, try to rotate them. Okay, so this one's interesting. I've seen this before. I have seen this quilt before many times, actually. This particular pattern. They are describing it Black Doll's quilt, sold in 2020 for $3,500. Black Doll's pattern quilt, early 20th century, doll figures with yellow, red, and tan dresses, 74 by 70. estimate $400 to $600, and it sold for $3,500. More proof that Skinner auctions, they don't really know what they're dealing with. They don't really know what they have. But I've seen this many times. Have you seen this before? Oh no, SJ. SJ, I got your number. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for her. Yeah. This one, Sujan, you love this one the most? Did you think it said 1834 mega? It might have. It might have. It's been a long day. I might have gotten that wrong. Listen, I'll try to find, let me put it on my notes. I gotta find more examples of this Black Dolls quilt because I've seen it before. And I don't know if that's what it's called. That's what Skinner is calling it. But I've seen this before and it's so great, isn't it? I mean, the graphic design of it is fabulous. It's like just the way these figures are turning, and I don't know. I mean, it's great. So like the figures here, in the center, they go, sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy, but they go from bottom, like they're head first, right? All the way up the center. And then the figures that are sideways, are all pointing in. They're like airplanes or something going into the center. It's so cool. It's just such great design, And they say here, early 20th century, estimated $400 to $600. It sold in 2020 for $3,500. Yeah, I gotta, Black Dolls here. Because I've seen it before. I think this quilt was reproduced like in a mass manufactured way. I know I've seen it before. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so there's that one. Never seen it? Yeah, I absolutely love it too. Never seen it. Yeah. This is. I just love doing this show because I've seen it before. But who am I going to tell? Who can be so excited, about it? But it's you. You can be. A half doll on the edges. Oh, that's true. Yes. A half doll on the edges. It's like the designer was like, I don't want negative space. I want this thing to go like edge to edge, essentially, So we're doing half blocks. And I guarantee you, she did what I have done before when I took a block to the edge of my quilt. Don't try to like draft half a block. Don't try to make half a block. Just make a full block and cut it in half with your 1/4 inch seam. You have to add a quarter, don't cut it directly in half, cut it in half, but a 1/4 inch, to the side that you're cutting off. Okay. So, because you have to have your seam allowance, but drafting a half a block or making a half a block, you'll go crazy. And it's quite thrilling to make patchwork and then cut it up. When it's yours, you can do that. Let's move on. Bed quilt. Bed quilt, Mother Nature. This looks, it's 74 by 70. So, I mean, it's more throw than bed. It's a strange size, actually, and it's square. That's why, it's like, it's art. I mean, it's an odd shape. It seems like an odd shape for us, but maybe it wasn't. Look at this thing. You ready for this? Here's what I have to tell you about this. It was sold in 2020 for $469, and it's a crib quilt. It's a crib quilt. Now, as a person who has made, so human, Ivy could dive 1,000%. As a person who's made a spiderweb quilt, I gotta tell you, it was a super fun quilt to make. It was not a quick quilt, but these wedges, you are not ready. You're not ready? Are you ready for this? We're not ready. See, this quilt is made, if you're not a quilt person, it might be kind of hard to see. I gotta get my Google Jamboard thing going so I can actually draw on the screen for you. But like this wedge here, this quilt is made by making a bunch of these wedges, these red and white striped wedges. And I don't know, I enjoyed making all of these wedges and then putting them together. I think these might be set-in wedges that I am not so excited about. I'm not sure. But I don't know. I liked making a spiderweb quilt. I paper pieced it. It was really fast. It was like doing a log cabin quilt on using paper piecing. I just cut long strips, sewed them down, flipped them, sewed it down, flip. I loved it. I thought it was a blast. Yeah, it totally looks like beach umbrellas. 1,000%. I love it. It's so cool. It's a lot of piecing. Oh my God. And for a baby, somebody really loved that baby. That baby. That baby was a special baby. Okay. We gotta get rolling. This was a collection, lot 459, of quilts, but I just wanted to show it to you because look at the yellow heart. I mean, this quilt up here, I don't think this is bound. This red and white. I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe it's bound. But isn't that sweet? The yellow. This lot was sold in 2019 for $279. 3 hand-stitched crib quilts, early 20th century America. The largest is 42 by 32. But the heart shape is so darling. And so different, right, from the 1980s heart that we looked at the other day. Hearts change. I mean, they don't, but they do. Hearts change. And hearts change. So I just thought it was a lovely little shape. And the quilting is intense. Can you see the quilting around that? It's really intense. But they're just about as sweet as can be. I don't know. I draw hearts in a very specific way, but do I need to revise my heart shape? I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Okay, so then, look at this one. So a bunch of these quilts are described as Mennonite. This is Mennonite Bethlehem Star. Mennonite Bethlehem Star. Sold in 2019 for $3,567. Mennonite Star of Bethlehem quilt. America, 19th century. See, I want to make it big because it's prettier, on your screen. But I also need you to see the whole thing, right? You need to see the whole quilt. 76 by 72. Estimate $400 to $600. Sold for $3,500. A Lone Star with a stripe. It's not the first one I've ever seen that did that, but it's really, yes, it is a commitment to a stripe background. Yeah. It's intense. I just think about the design choice that the quilter had to make of how the corner pieces can be straight up and down, obviously, or they can go out to the side. I'm going to go with straight up and down, but the set-ins, what am I going to do? How am I going to work this out? Commitment indeed. Yeah. Rusty Cat. Belated Googling on using Latin. The E pluribus unum, the eagle quilt. There was no letter Y in Latin. Oh my God, Rusty. Wait a minute. This is where I need the graduation song. This is so nerdy. You're just such a great nerd. You're very good. There was no letter Y in Latin, so it's possible the Y was added small on that quilt so that the word could be read and understood in English, but a little Y was used to preserve the original spelling. We need a linguist in the Quilt Nerd fold. Yeah. That is a very good reading of that quilt, and you get the Quilt Nerd Award of the Day. You do. That makes a lot of sense. It's wonderful. Thank you for looking that up. Fantastic. Yeah, Dana, thank you. That's the Nerd Apple. If you haven't used the emoticons or the emotes yet, if somebody shares something really nerdy, if you see something really nerdy on the screen, the Nerd Apple or the graduation cap is very appropriate. Okay, so Mennonite. So Mennonite makes sense, but then this is a Mennonite described quilt too. And I don't know everything about Mennonite or Amish quilts, obviously, but from what I've seen, the printed fabric does not get as much airtime for the Mennonite and Amish quilts as this quilt is getting. I love this quilt. It's just it's fizzy, it's fizzing like soda pop or something. Mennonite 8-point star, Floridale, Waterloo County, Ontario. My Canada peeps. Ontario. 1920 to 30. Yeah, I mean, square blocks composed of shades of red, blue, and white, divided by pink, blue, red, and yellow border. 84 by 77, sold in 2018 for $338. I mean, this is, yes, it's true, Nancy, totally. Mennonites are less strict. They have different cultural, rules or, yeah, they live by different guidelines and things like that. Totally. And so, yeah, like this, I don't know enough to really speak intelligently about that. But yes, 1,000% Mennonites have different, less strict, I think it's safe to say, less strict rules. So in that way, it's just really exciting to see this, like, in fact, you know what? Well, the blue is a solid fabric. Both blues, the navy blue and the, like, cadet blue are both solids, but everything else, well, maybe there's a red in here that's a solid, but most of these fabrics are prints. I almost feel like she was like, oh, you want to see a quilt made with prints? Huh, I'll make you a quilt with printed fabrics. Ha! Yeah, small prints. Okay. Yep, small prints. Well, and you know what? These are small prints. There's a couple getting to be larger floral prints, but for the most part, they are small. I love it. It's interesting, like, making quilts, like, if you've got a print that just you don't know what to do with, I know it's crazy. Please don't do it and then hate your quilt and then blame me for it. But, like, what if you take a fabric that you just don't know what to do with and just lay it out or put it on your design wall, or just, what if it's a border that doesn't make sense? But then it does. I mean, I don't know. I love this quilt. I think it's awesome. It's weird, but I love that, Good night, Sibby Mac. I'm so glad you were here. Thank you for coming. You're a joy. You're a delight. Okay. Here's another one. It might have been made by the same person. It seems like it might have been with this wild border, this crazy border. Yeah, it's another weird one. Yeah, same kind of deal. I think it's made by the same person. Yeah. I mean, this border choice is crazy. It doesn't make any sense, but it works. I don't know if I think it works because I'm seeing it and it's finished and it just looks very intentional because of that reason, but I really like it. We love weird quilts. Raffle Waffle. Oh, you just gave me an idea for merch, because I've been thinking about, like, if there was a Quilt Nerd t-shirt, what would it be? And what, like, would a Quilt Nerd logo look like? Because the Heart Plus is my insignia, but it doesn't really communicate Quilt Nerd at all. So it's like, if there was a Quilt Nerd logo, I don't know, I'm pretty particular about logos, so it's got to be just right. But, like, Quilt Nerd, we love weird quilts. That's pretty good. We love weird quilts. I got to write it on my notes. I mean, it's good. Quilt Nerd says what it is, and We Love Weird Quilts says what we love. So, yeah, exactly, Sujan. It doesn't make sense to the eye, but I still love it. And I think, like, part of why it's not completely bananas, even if you are like, it's bananas, there's red in this tulip. And, like, I've said before about scrap quilts, like, Mom and I always say, if you're going to do something crazy scrappy, just make sure that every fabric has a friend. And there's yellow. There's look at that buttercream yellow and that red are both they're in the piecing and they're in the border. And that gives it barely, but it gives it a slight cohesion. And the cream in the gingham here is the same cream as the ground for the floral border. So there is a relationship. They're estranged, but there's a relationship there. And Susan's right, it will read differently. It will read differently if it's on the bed. It's so true. Yeah, the corners. Yeah, the corners on, yeah, this one. Oh, the corners, yeah. Oh my gosh, Noelle. And Sparrowhawker. Hey, Sparrowhawker. Sparrowhawker has a hawk's eye, because she's pointing out the corners. Look at the corners on this. So corner 1, okay, in the patchwork corner here, and corner 2. Okay, so those are both, well, and again, we have half blocks, right? The half blocks are a theme tonight. But then look at the bottom here. I just love that you all analyze these quilts so deeply. Look at this. It's totally different. It's really different. It's like, I'm going to zoom out so you can see how different they are. I mean, wow. Wow, it really changes on the bottom. Huh. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just really like, I mean, what's going on there? Well, okay, I guess that bottom row echoes like this, right? This middle where the black sort of forms the hexagon, or the octagon, right? Like you go down here and it's like, that's what's happening here too. Do you see what I mean? But trompe-l'oeil effect, totally, Rod, totally. It's where the block was cut. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, she just sort of stopped. It's like you're seeing a crop of a bigger quilt, right? Where the pattern goes on and on and on. She's like screenshotting like a part of the larger quilt. But it's really interesting. And yet again, like, I don't know. I just can't say it enough. It's okay to do that. Like, it's like, okay. Like, you don't have to perfectly draft like a perfect quilt that has the block finished perfectly before you put on a border. I mean, I don't know. I just think we got off onto a weird like turn. I think it happened in like the 90s and the 2000s, and everything just had to be like, I don't know, ready for a magazine. And it just doesn't have to be that way. And the quilts that I love the most and that people around here love the most are just not perfect. And in that way, they are perfect. Okay, so this is crazy. So this one, I gotta tell you, by the way, who was saying this? Feed Puppy. I gotta tell you, I may have to save Turkey Red for Thursday. I don't like it. I don't like teasing you with Turkey Red, but there's a few more of these quilts, and I'm gonna get through them. But this is gonna be a 3-hour show. In 15 minutes, this is gonna be a 3-hour show. It's Tuesday night. I'm gonna save Turkey Red for next time. We're gonna finish these quilts, but by 10 o'clock, this puppy's got to go to bed. So, I mean, I love staying on late, and I could do it, but we're going to do an extra Friday night stream. On Friday night, if you've just joined us, if you didn't know, Friday night, we're going to read an issue of Quilter's newsletter together, live, at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I can't wait. So that's my pass. I'm going to do Turkey Red on Thursday, or in a future stream. Sometimes I have to feel the vibe of the day and figure out what I'm going to do. But don't worry, just keep coming to the show, and you will get your Turkey Red. Okay. So this one is Steeplechase. Steeplechase. What is that? Mennonite Steeplechase quilt, sold $525. Also Ontario, 1910. I've just never heard of a steeplechase pattern. Maybe I'm very late to that party. But this is like, what does it say? Red and blue cloth. See, they dodged that one because this looks like a calamanco kind of deal, like glazed. And throw in some more colors Thursday. It's not a bad idea, actually. You know, it'd be fun, like, okay, color, yeah. Color shows, puppy. You know what you just made me think of? What if I did a show that was like purple, like purples, reds? Good. It's the content that keeps on giving. So anyway, this is just really beautiful. Now, speaking of turkeys, like turkey tracks, isn't this like central little rosette kind of thing called like turkey something? turkey star. I don't know. Ooh, talk about a weird sort of imperfect thing. It's just great. It's just great. Yeah. Okay, Feed Puppy, you're into the color thing. That's my consolation prize for you. That's my apology for not getting to turkey red tonight, but I'll do color shows, okay? I promise. This is just a really it's so shiny. That's the thing. Like, they waxed it. So Calico quilts in the olden days, you know, sometimes were glazed. It was glazed wool or it was linen, and it was like shiny because of like treating the fabric. So this is really interesting because it's, hey, Kenny G, thank you for following. I'm so glad. I hope you come back and watch the show. I'm about to wrap it up, but we'll be back on Thursday. Steeplechase, yeah, I don't know. 1910, Ontario. Gorgeous. Okay, a few more here. This one, I don't know. This one isn't that crazy, except that these tulips are beautiful. Mennonite Star and Tulip. Sold for $475, again, from Ontario. So there was a collection, you know, that someone had that went to this auction. Circa 1880 to 90. Oh, I know why. Because this has got red in it. So I did a bunch of like turkey red quilts. Which one? Oh yeah. So now we're getting into the turkey reds that I collected, that I gathered together when I was going to transition into the Barbara Brackman stuff on turkey red. But yeah, I can't be a hero every time, you know? I can't. Oh, this one here. Let me end with this one because this is pretty great. This is what did they call it? Washington. I mean, coxcomb is a thing that I've heard, but this is Washington's plume. This is the last quilt of the evening, so don't go anywhere. Sold in 2013 for $180. $180. And you know what? You think about these fashion people who are cutting up quilts to make clothes. $180. If you're selling a jacket for $1,500, you'd be like, oh, hell yeah. Like, you know, sold. Like, I'll pay $180. You'd make a killing. I mean, what is that markup? You sell something for $1,500 and you paid $180 for it? I mean, that would make a fabulous coat, would it not? Like, don't make me like flip off. Denise, I love that. Strange plus awkward equals awesome. Agreed. Like, this is our credo. This is our mantra. Tantra. I'm telling you. It's true. I like the Washington's plume as well. So just what they say about this, late 19th century, hand-stitched, 13 singular plumes, applique, yeah, well, yeah, okay, of course, applique, shaped to fit a 4-poster bed. If you've ever seen quilts that look like this and you're like, why is it shaped like that? It's shaped like that because when you put it on the bed, the poster, you know, the 4-poster bed, like the foot of the bed doesn't get all screwed up. It's brilliant. If you have a 4-poster bed and you're not making quilts like this, what are you thinking? You got to do it. You got to bring it back. You know what? I challenge, I invite somebody to make a quilt like this. I mean, if you've got a bed with posts on it, and I know that's not super in fashion right now, but if you have a 4-poster bed or any kind of significant post on the bed on which you sleep, do this. You would surprise and delight everybody. I've never seen a quilt in a contemporary quilt show or at like a show and tell that was shaped like this. But it makes perfect sense. It's design. Form fits function. Do it. Yeah. Anyway, purchase from Fred, something, 1973. Yeah. Do it. Yeah, I like this shape more than the kimono too. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting parallel. Yeah, I agree. I still don't understand the kimono thing. If anybody ever finds any nerdy content on why art quilters in the 1980s were kimono crazy, I'd really, really like to know. Okay, everybody, that was the show. And it was just so much fun. And I'm always happy when I have too much content to share with you. I usually do, but it doesn't happen too often. Usually I have a lot of pep, but Tuesday night, it's almost 10 o'clock. You know, We gotta be real about this. To everybody watching the replay, thank you so much for doing so, and tell a friend about the show if you know a nerd that you think who you think would enjoy this. Let them know. We'd love to have them. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm so glad that you are. It's good in Twitch because you really get into the mix over on the Twitch side. But for now, you can definitely enjoy the stream on YouTube as well. Thanks, everybody. It is great company indeed. You're my favorite company. Aside from my husband, Eric, you're my, that's the way it should be, you know. But aside from him, right there. Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody, and take care and be safe, please. Okay. Mwah. Thank you to the healthcare workers and everybody. Stay safe. I think.